What up, it's your girl Catalina Perez, and you are tuned into the OTS Project.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the OTS Project, here with episode 14. Theo, my boy, what's happening?
It is WrestleMania month. We are here. The hype is
Yes,
real.
sir.
It just keeps building every single week. We're doing WrestleMania episodes every week. I'm very excited for that. I've just been watching a shit ton of WrestleMania matches because of next week's topic, which I believe we already revealed to be top 5 WrestleMania matches, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that episode. But yeah, I've just been watching like a shit ton of wrestling whenever I'm not like at the gym or working or sleeping or whatever. Too much.
So I like to hear. Yeah, we announced that the whole month we're gonna do basically all WrestleMania stuff. We're gonna keep the theme centered around WrestleMania. So our topic this week is gonna be top 5 WrestleMania entrances. Next week is gonna be our top 5 WrestleMania matches, and then what was I think the week after that is gonna be.
I think it's just top 5
what did I say it was? Top 5 WrestleManias, yep. And then we're going to cap it off with our WrestleMania 41 review. We'll probably tie in Stand and Deliver as well, because we normally watch that. It'll be a WrestleMania weekend review, really, for this weekend. So yeah, I'm super excited. WrestleMania is the best time of the year for a wrestling fan. It's like Christmas. Yeah, we're getting more and more matches kind of announced each week. Last night on SmackDown, I know we got Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight was announced and confirmed for WrestleMania, as well as Jade Cargill and Naomi is announced for WrestleMania, which I believe is the first time in 19 years that a women's match has happened that isn't a titles match on WrestleMania.
That is true. At WrestleMania, yes.
Pretty insane.
That is true.
Right, which is pretty insane. Pretty wild stat there. So good on them that they get to kind of be a part of that. Some sad news, though, regarding WrestleMania. It would seem Kevin Owens is injured. He came out on SmackDown and, dropped the character and basically straight up just told us all that he has an issue with his neck and has to go and have neck surgery. I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like the way he was talking, it doesn't seem too hopeful. It seems pretty bleak. So WrestleMania wise, that leaves Randy Orton up in the air, but I've seen a lot of people speculate the way that segment ended. He RKO'd Nick Aldis. So I've seen a lot of people speculate that maybe Nick Aldis is going to lace up the boots one more time and have a match with Randy Orton. I think that would be great.
I would love to see
Nick Aldis is...
I need to see... Because both these general managers have like a background in like wrestling and all that kind of stuff. So I would definitely like to see them, more so Nick Aldis, but also if we can get Adam Pearce into a match, I'm not going to say no to that. I think that'd also be very entertaining.
Yeah, not only do they have wrestling backgrounds, 2 very underrated wrestlers. I'll have to send you some matches because I don't think you've necessarily really seen either of them wrestle, but I've seen Adam Pearce wrestle a bit, but Nick Aldis, he was in TNA when I was like a kid/teenager, so I've seen him wrestle countless times. Very underrated wrestler. So I would love to see his one match in WWE be a WrestleMania match against Randy Orton. I think that would be really, really cool. And I don't necessarily see like any other... You have to have Randy Orton on the card, but I'm not seeing any other... My first thought was maybe you put Carmelo in that spot, which I would also love, just because Carmelo Hayes is one of my favorites right now, and I would love to see him get a big WrestleMania match. But if they're running that route of Nick Aldis, I'm not mad about that at all. I think that would be really, really cool. But yeah, we want to, of course, send our love and our prayers to Kevin Owens, who is clearly watching. He watches every episode of the OTS Project. He doesn't miss a single episode. So we want to make sure that, we just want to send some love to him. He's been nothing but entertaining for the like 10 years that he's been in WWE. We both love him. I know he at one point was definitely one of your favorites.
Yeah, for sure. Even like the past few months, I got to be honest, he's probably been one of the like top performers, I'd say.
Yeah. Just
in the entire business, like the stuff that he's put his body through and like continues to do so is nothing short of incredible. So definitely best wishes for him.
100%. And I don't want to be too negative, but if this is to be kind of the end of his run, if he's not able to come back, what a hell of a way to go out, man. He had a ladder match with Cody Rhodes to the Rumble, and then had like one of the best like matches in the past like year span with Sami Zayn.
It's definitely a match of the year contender for sure.
Right. So hopefully it's not the end. I don't want it to be the end, but if it is the end, he went out on one hell of a match against his best friend in Canada. He did, that last match is kind of a fairy tale ending in a way.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's not his last match. Hopefully he has his surgery and he's out for a little bit and comes back and terrorizes WWE and whatnot. So yeah. But yeah, we're to get back onto the track. We're in WrestleMania season. We're in full gear. It's just a few weeks away at this point. We're super excited, like we always are. Like I said, it's like Christmas for any wrestling fan. So yeah, the whole month on the pod is going to be all WrestleMania themed episodes. But before we hop into our top 5 WrestleMania entrances, we have a crazy amount of news. So we could make a whole episode just in the amount of news that we have this week.
Really good.
Because CinemaCon was this past week, which I did not realize. But for those that don't know, it's basically like a convention for kind of movie theater owners to go and see what the studios have cooked up for the year and maybe next year and whatnot. So it's more of like a corporate thing, but it's always interesting for fans of movies because you normally get some sort of news. And boy, oh boy, did we get a good amount of news. So starting off, the final Spider-Verse movie has officially gotten its release date, I should say. My bad. June 4th, 2027. And they claim it to be bigger and bolder, and it takes place immediately after the second movie ends. So that was some big news to kick off the weekend. I'm excited. Like we said, Across the Spider-Verse is one of your favorite movies. I love that movie too. Into the Spider-Verse is also a top tier movie. I know a lot of people like to joke and say, "Oh, we're never getting this movie after they've already kind of prolonged it a little bit," and then we had all the stuff with Shamik Moore being a weirdo and whatnot. But I would say Lord and Miller are not enjoying those jokes. They're definitely locking in and going, no, it's coming. It's just taking time. And that's what I kind of equated it to. Like, people were saying we're never getting this movie, or, oh my God, it's taking too long. I'm equating it to a video game. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Mm-hmm. Gotta let it ride. Who cares if it takes extra time? I'd rather be a good movie and a great end to this trilogy that has been incredible than them rush it and it sucks and we kind of get a flop for the end. So
exactly. Even when they originally were talking about how this movie was going to be coming out like a year after Across the Spider-Verse, I was already like, there's a high chance that's actually not going to happen at all.
Right.
And
right.
I do agree with you that they really do need to take their time on this stuff, because they took a lot of time on the first one, they took a lot of time on the second one. It should only be fair and make sense that they take a lot of time on this third one to make sure that it does just come out to be the greatest superhero trilogy of all time.
Yeah, 100%. I know they showed some kind of footage that they didn't release to the public, but they did show some screenshots. It's looking good. It's looking pretty good. So yeah, keeping the Spider-Man news though. Probably the biggest news of the whole weekend is we got the official title for Spider-Man 4. Spider-Man Brand New Day, and that is releasing July 31st, 2026. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest news to come out of the whole weekend. Again, obviously, we're huge Spider-Man fans, so that dropped and kind of broke the internet for a little bit. Yeah, I'm super excited. We were talking, I think, a little bit that Sadie Sink is supposed to be in that movie and whatnot. Yeah, as I was looking at this, though, I'm not a super big comic book person in itself. Like, I don't, go and read comics and stuff. So I looked up what Brand New Day is, and it's kind of funny because this was the clear path. I don't know if people were talking about it when No Way Home came out of what the next movie might be or whatever, but as I, watched a video that explained the whole comic and whatnot, this was the clear path. The whole comic is about how Doctor Strange had to put a spell to help save Peter Parker's identity and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is this is the result of him having to put this spell and all this whatnot. So I was like, okay, this is clearly the path that I don't know if anybody realized or not, but clearly this is the idea that they had the whole time. But yeah, it's basically just Spider-Man trying to deal with the world no longer knowing him and whatnot. I believe in the comics is a little bit different. In the comics, they had to kind of reveal his identity, or they had to like do the spell to fix his identity crisis thing, and at the same time, it had to break up his marriage with MJ or whatever because he had made some deal with Mephisto that obviously went wrong, and Doctor Strange kind of helped him out or something like that. So it's obviously a little bit different, but it's still the same idea of like he had to, let the world forget about him and whatnot. So yeah, I'm super excited. July 31st, 2026, Spider-Man Brand New Day will be in theaters. Do you think this will kick off a trilogy centered around the word day?
It's funny you mentioned that because I was literally going to make the joke of like the home is out. There's no more home. It's just going to be day now.
Right.
Oh
so,
my god!
I'm
gonna call it. I'm gonna call it. Second movie is going to be called Spider-Man Hump Day, as in the middle of the week, and then they'll have one for the end of the week.
Nice. But yeah, no, I think legitimately it's going to be centered around that word.
I could see that happening. Yeah.
We are getting that Zelda movie that I think we had talked about a few weeks ago. It is being released March 26, 2027. I'm not like a huge thing, but a huge Zelda fan or whatnot, but I definitely am intrigued. So the fact that that's happening is pretty cool. They officially have announced a new Hunger Games movie. They just released, the book just came out, Hunger Games: Sunrise of the Reaping, I believe, and it's Haymitch's backstory. And they officially at CinemaCon have announced that the movie is in the works. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. I've always been a big Hunger Games fan. I showed you Hunger Games when Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was coming out. We kind of binge watched those movies. I think it was like the day before and the day of or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
And then once we finished those movies, then we went and saw the new movie, which I think the new movie is my favorite movie out of all of them, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really good.
It's definitely one of the better ones. I'd say it's either that one or maybe the second one. I'm very excited, though, for a Haymitch Center movie. He was always one of my, if not just my favorite character throughout the entire series. I saw this TikTok of, like, different fan casting ideas of, like, different people that could play Haymitch. And they were, like, being, like, ranked. And then at number 1, it was just Woody Harrelson, but we put him in a wig and a backwards cap and just pretend that he's 16. And I was like, that's exactly what I want.
Hell yeah. I'm with it. But, yeah, I don't know if they gave a release date or not because I don't have it written down here. So, in general, though, just having that coming is really cool. Star Wars news. We're getting Tales of the Underworld on May 4th. Last year we got Tales of the Empire. You and I watched that together. So yeah, getting Tales of the Underworld. It seems like this is going to be a yearly tradition for some years to go on. Is that they're going to do some animated short form kind of thing on May the 4th, which is really cool. Tales of the Empire was really good. The first one was Tales of the Jedi, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I really enjoyed. Tales of the Empire was also good, so I'm really intrigued to see this. I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot, and I have not actually watched the trailer. I actually have not seen the trailer.
I didn't know there was a trailer. I thought it was just like the screenshot, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go and find this trailer as well then.
There is a trailer. I know Ventress returns. Ventress is in the trailer. She comes back, and she's training what looks to be a youngling, a Padawan. I've already seen some theories that maybe it's Baylan Skoll. I saw some theories that maybe it's Jod from Skeleton Crew. That would also be pretty cool. And I know Cad Bane also returns, so it seems like this version of the show is going to center around those two characters, Ventress and Cad Bane. It looked like it was going to be Cad Bane's kind of origin story. And with Ventress, it looks like it's going to be either before, probably right before or right after she shows up at Bad Batch. She has like the same kind of hairstyle and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm definitely excited to watch. It's going to be pretty cool. We got the official announcement of the Nintendo Switch, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't really want to go too far into because we could be here all day talking about that. Yeah. But I'm also not a huge Nintendo guy. I have a Nintendo Switch right over here. I'm not gonna grab it. But I'm not gonna lie, I really only use my Nintendo Switch for Fortnite to do bot lobbies with. I don't really use it for anything else. So yeah, I'm not a huge Nintendo person, but I will say the biggest thing that stood out to me was the battery life is horrible. You can only use it for like 2 hours without charging it, which I think is an insane thing for a handheld device. Not great. And secondly, the thing that kind of broke the internet is they have just fully said F it and said screw GTA, we're doing it ourselves, and have upped the price of their games to $80. So yeah, I'm not too happy about that. Again, I don't care too much because I definitely ain't planning on getting a Switch 2 or buying these games. But as a video game person that will probably still be affected by this because they're going to do it, and then once they see that people are buying it, then all of a sudden every other studio is going to do it for PlayStation games and Xbox games. Yeah, I'm not excited about that. I think it's a little ridiculous, especially because a lot of those Switch games, I saw someone breaking it down, and one of the Switch 2 games is literally a Nintendo Switch 1 game that they're just adding something to, and they're charging $80 for, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, I don't want to harp on it too long, but I don't know what's going on there. It's not looking good. It's not looking good, boys. Between that and obviously GTA has this rumored price tag of $100 base game. It seems like starting next year we're gonna be hurting our wallets when it comes to just wanting to buy a normal video game. It's already hurting our wallets having to pay $70 for just a base game, and $100 if you want a damn season pass or some DLC. So yeah, them upping that price again is not great. I don't like that. For GTA, I think we all agree, at GTA, we're willing to spend whatever we have to spend to play GTA 6. But this is also the biggest game of all time that's going to be coming out, so it's reasonable. I'm not willing to spend $100 on a base game of the WWE 2K26. Especially, again, where now, if that's $100, then, it's going to be $150 for a deluxe or $200 for, the collector's edition. I'm not rocking with that. It's not cool. But yeah, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I just wanted to touch on that because it definitely intrigued me, and I'm definitely not a fan. You could probably add more to that, though. You're a bigger Nintendo person than me.
It's a very terrible business practice at a time when the economy is very much so at a state of decay and just awfulness at the moment, with all the things that are going on with all these tariffs and whatnot. It's definitely a terrible time to kind of be introducing these prices. I don't know if you also saw it, but they're also introducing a tech demo for this system that's also charged.
Paid.
Like, it's not free at all, which is an insane business practice to charge people to learn how to use your console. That's ridiculous.
While the PlayStation 5 had Astrobot for free.
Yes, it did. It did. That was pretty fun as well. Yeah. I enjoyed that. But it's very disappointing. It instantly killed pretty much any and all hype for the console. They've been doing like these they call them like Treehouses live streams, and where they like show off all these new games that they have for the console and whatnot. And pretty much throughout the entire time, the live chat was pretty much just flooded with the message, drop the price. So it seems like it's a very universal thing that everybody kind of hates this or hates what this could possibly lead to, especially if other game developers up their prices as well, because if they start charging $100 for Assassin's Creed, then the world is fucked. Because
exactly.
Not worth that price tag.
Right, 100%.
But yeah, no, it's very unfortunate to kind of see that this is the route that they're taking. Especially greed, exactly. That's just what it is. It's just a bunch of greed. Especially from like a company that really hasn't displayed that sort of thing, at least more so than others, because usually their consoles are far cheaper than like the PlayStation and the Xbox. Usually those are like $300, $250 or something like that. So to kind of see them going this route with charging a console for $450 and then games for $80, $90 if you want the physical edition of the games. Is
insane.
Very insane.
And the price also. Go ahead. You're good.
I don't know if you were also going to continue on with the topic, but I did add another topic in here just now because I didn't see that it was on here originally. They released a new clip for the Superman movie, which got me very excited.
I had it in there. I was gonna kind of end with that, but I just wanted to cap off the Nintendo Switch thing. I saw someone else talking about it. They live in Canada, and Canada prices are always higher than in like the U.S. So that person was talking about it's $450 for Switch 2 in the U.S. It's like $550 in Canada. Which then means the games that are $80 are probably like $100 for people. So I'm like,
20 maybe.
Right, I'm like, this is absolutely insane that they're going this route. But yeah, very disappointing. Yeah, so moving on from that though, yes, there was a new Superman clip that came out. Warner Brothers had a CinemaCon panel. I was sitting there waiting for updates. Whenever there's a panel like this, because these things are never live streamed, whether it's CinemaCon or Comic Con or D23, they're never live streamed. So the only way I can be on top of this news, because whenever these things are happening, I always flood my friends' DMs with all the news. I always send it to Jack or Theo or Wyatt or Elias, my boy Elias. Like, I'm always on top of sending whatever I can to the DMs of my friends so they know what's going on. So that's what I do anytime there's any of these panels that aren't streamed. I'm just sitting on X, just constantly refreshing the CinemaCon or Comic Con, hashtag. So yeah, I was sitting there watching, and they popped out this Superman clip. But I will say the rest of the Warner Brothers thing was a little disappointing. James Gunn came out on stage and said, "We promise a few fun surprises for today's panel," and then they spent 30 minutes just talking about the Superman movie, and then left. There was no surprises. Unless they say this clip is a surprise, but this clip is what's playing before the Minecraft movie, so it's really not a surprise. So I was like, where were the surprises? I was like, I don't understand where the surprises are.
They did drop news, or maybe they showed off a clip to the people that were actually at the event.
They
Dynamic
I think they
movie.
did. Yeah. So yeah, in general though, they dropped this clip. A good portion of this clip is in the original trailer with Superman kind of having his ass beat and trying to get Crypto to take him home, but it's obviously an extended portion of what was in the trailer. I thought it was hilarious when he's trying to get him taken home and Crypto just starts like beating the shit out of him because he wants to play. I thought that was
it's
great.
Very dog behavior.
Yes, I was just gonna say, for anyone that has dogs knows how annoying it could be when you're woken up from your sleep in the morning, which literally just happened to me an hour ago, to your dog jumping on top of you because they need to go outside. So yeah, it's not fun. But yeah, so he's just trying to get Crypto to take him home, and Crypto finally locks in and takes him home. Then we have some robots that kind of pick him up and help him out, and basically just give him the power of the sun, and he gets revived. And then I feel like the clip pretty much ends there. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
that's
there was
pretty much
anything
it.
else
It then just goes into like the trailer and whatnot, and shows off a
Right.
few little more things here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it looked good. I thought I won't lie, I thought it looked a little goofy. Not the Crypto stuff, but I don't know, something about the robots, which I know it is from the comics, but I don't know, something about it kind of disconnected me a little bit. I was like, I don't know what's happening here. But yeah, I did see some people being just blatantly stupid online and saying like, wait, I thought he gets healed by the sun. Why is the sun hurting him? Because this man had nothing but a broken body with like 100 broken bones, a like ruptured spleen and kidney and colon, like everything that was wrong with this man internally could be wrong with this man was wrong with this man. So yeah, he was being healed, but at the same time, it's gonna hurt like a bitch, even if you're Superman, to just magically have your bones snap back into place, your kidney just automatically heal. It's like it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people missed the point on that one and thought, why is the sun hurting him? I thought it heals him. No, it was healing him, but he's not just totally immune to pain, you know. So, but in general, I thought the clip looked pretty good. I'm still excited, even though I did think it looked a little goofy, a little campy. More so, I am still excited to see the movie.
I loved this clip. I love everything. Superman's my favorite. I have been. It did get me back into reading the comics again and stuff like that, so it got me very, very excited. The Fortress of Solitude looks amazing. I think how they kind of revealed that was definitely a very good job on their part. Even the door, I thought the door was sick, where it like glowed the logo and then opened up. Yep. When the door opened up, it had like this. I'm pretty sure it had like a same sound effect that was in like a Star Wars door opening. I feel like I don't know if you may have caught that, but I was like,
I would have to watch it back.
But yeah,
that's funny though.
I loved everything about this clip. The Crypto stuff I thought was super fun and also kind of realistic to how a dog would behave, as we talked about earlier. The robots, I can get where you're coming from. They are a bit. they're not very well known. They're a bit odd, but as someone who is reading the comics and stuff like that, I know kind of more about these robots and stuff like that. I can tell you that they're doing a good job with pretty much all this stuff. This really is kind of the vibe I would want out of a Superman movie, at least from what we've seen so far. I'm more sure we're going to see more stuff before the movie comes out, but it looks like they're definitely taking a right direction with everything they're doing. They're staying very faithful to all the comics and whatnot, and keeping it colorful and stuff like that, which is what Superman should be. It should be colorful, it should be hopeful and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to see this movie.
No, for sure. I can tell you're definitely excited. I was watching an interview that the cast did after they got off of stage, and so James Gunn was kind of explaining the movie, and he got a huge pop for me because he's explaining the movie, and he's like, "This is really just a movie about humanity and like the beauty that is within people." And then he looks to Nicholas Hoult, who's playing Lex Luthor, and he goes, "Well, I mean, except for you, because you're a piece of shit." But that popped the shit out of me. I thought that was funny as hell.
Lex is terrible, man.
Yeah. I saw a rumor that he just like in this movie he just kills a ton of people. Like he's just murdering multiple people, just off wit's end. So yeah, I do want to end our little news discussion though to say another kind of sad news. This past week, Val Kilmer unfortunately passed away. I wasn't like super versed in his career, but I do know that obviously he was Batman for a movie. He was Batman in Batman and the one with Jim Carrey, right?
Yes, that was the one.
Yes.
I actually like that movie. A lot of people don't like that movie.
Yeah, actually, that movie, other than Batman Returns, is probably the Batman movie I watched the most as a kid. But other than that, it's probably that movie. I've watched that movie a lot. I think I also do enjoy it just because I love how crazy Jim Carrey is in that movie. He was definitely kind of a part of our childhoods with that movie as Batman. Obviously, he was Iceman in Top Gun and in Top Gun Maverick. They were able to bring him back. Just some really sad news. I know as he was living, he had issues with throat cancer, and that kind of caused him to have to stop acting because he couldn't really speak anymore. It's just really sad, man. Life is short, and it can happen to anybody. I did see that the last video of him that was online was him putting on his Batman cowl, which I thought was kind of poetic, and I think when it comes to Top Gun Maverick, obviously we didn't know it at the time. Tom Cruise didn't know it at the time, but I think it really, when you think about it, it's actually a really beautiful send off to him as a person and as an actor within his profession, that they were able to kind of get him back in there to do one last scene with Maverick. I just want to, we send condolences to his family and whatnot. He was definitely an interesting actor and a good actor that, again, he wasn't in a million roles that we knew as a kid, but he was in some pretty important ones as Iceman and as Batman. I just wanted to end off our little news and discussion by touching on that real quick. If you want to add anything else.
No, definitely a legend for sure. I mean, Iceman was definitely one of my favorite characters from both those movies. Again, Batman, that's one of my favorite Batman movies for sure. As unpopular of an opinion as that is, I do like the goofiness of it. Definitely he's going to be missed for sure. Very unfortunate that he did have to go through all that throat cancer and everything like that, but definitely condolences to his family and everything like that. A true legend.
I also want to add, too, because I didn't get to speak on, I don't know why, but I didn't get to speak on what I did this week. So I didn't do a lot.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah. I didn't do anything. I never do a lot, but I do want to touch on really fast that I did Saturday after we had recorded the podcast, Saturday night. I watched the movie Anora, which I believe I touched on a few weeks ago really quick, that I'm a big fan of Mikey Madison, and I was watching this show that she had been on and whatnot. I definitely, when Anora was coming out, I wanted to watch it, and then it came out, and I just didn't get a chance to get to the theater to watch it. So now it's on Hulu/Disney Plus. I was kind of waiting for it, so it dropped. So last Saturday I watched it. I just wanted to add that in there because that movie is incredible. I highly recommend you watch it. I highly recommend anybody watch it. It is a very good movie. It won for Best Picture, as well as Mikey Madison won for Best Female Lead or whatever it is at the Oscars this year. Well deserved. I thought it was a great movie. I highly recommend you check it out. It was really good. So I just wanted to add that in there. I didn't do too much, but I did want to add in that I did see that movie. I thought it was really, really good, and I would highly recommend anybody check it out. It's on it's on Hulu, but also if you have Disney Plus and Hulu, you can just watch it on Disney Plus.
I saw for the first time this week Men in Black. That's it.
Okay. All right, nice.
Good movie.
Yeah, I think I've seen a few of those movies, but I haven't watched all of them. I know I've seen the first one. I think I saw the third one in the theaters with my dad at one point, and then I watched the kind of shitty reboot with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson a couple years ago. But yeah, we got to move into our actual topic here, our first of multiple WrestleMania topics for the month. We're going top 5 WrestleMania entrances this week. I have a good amount of honorable mentions here.
I have some good honorable mentions. Yeah.
This list was not easy to make, and I had to kind of go through videos and lists in itself to try and figure out what I wanted to put there and where I wanted to put it. So I'm just going to raffle off my honorable mentions real quick. Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 12 with the zip line is incredible. Edge at WrestleMania 24, also really good. He didn't really have a special entrance. I think it was more so just the grandeur of all of his pyro on that really big stage that I really love. I was there as a kid, so maybe it just holds a special place in my heart. Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 40, having them play her to the ring was really, really cool. CM Punk at WrestleMania 29, having Cult of Personality played live is absolutely incredible. Triple H at WrestleMania 30, having the kind of the women with him and whatnot on the throne, also really good. And my last honorable mention is John Cena at WrestleMania 25, where he has a bunch of clones of himself all on the stage. He's got 30 versions of John Cena all on the stage.
Dude, that one's one of my. That's one of my It's not one of my favorites, but it's one of my favorites to watch because I love watching it and just him going down the ramp, and I just be like, okay, who's the shortest John Cena on this ramp?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, that's the end of my honorable mentions.
All right, I've got a good few as well. Let me try and start from the top because I didn't exactly. I should have numbered these. No, I'm gonna do that right now. 1, 2.
Oh God.
Well, it's not that I didn't number them. They're in order. It's just, for honorable mention wise, it's easier. Okay, there we go. I have New Day at WrestleMania 32 with the Budios box coming down, and they're all dressed up like the Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball Z. I think it's just a wacky combination, but it works very well. I have Undertaker at WrestleMania 29, the one where he's standing there and all the hands are reaching up and whatnot at him. That one's super sick. I have Kane from WrestleMania 21. This was when he was in the I think it was the Money in the Bank ladder match, and all the ladders are there on the stage, and when the pyro hits, every single there's 2 ladders and they're all on fire. Yeah. I was like, that's sick. I've never seen
about that one
before. I have John Cena at WrestleMania 36 with him doing the NWO entrance he's coming into the ring, he's dancing around with Bray Wyatt, and they're doing the Too Sweet and whatnot. I was like, that's super fun. I have Shawn Michaels both with the WrestleMania 12 with the zip line, as well as him with WrestleMania 25 coming down from that little elevator thing, as if he's God.
I can't wait to see what your list is because you've mentioned 2 things on your honorable mentions that are just on my actual list.
Yeah.
So
I'm still going.
God.
Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, where all the trash is being thrown at him and Bobby Heenan. And then I have JBL at WrestleMania 21. He's got the limo with the police escort and whatnot, and all the $100 bills with his face on it are raining down from the sky. Yeah, that's all my honorable mentions though.
Okay. My number 5, we're going to start off with my number 5 here. This one, not necessarily a special entrance, and I really wouldn't even really want to put this fucking guy on the list, but I feel like I just had to. Not necessarily a special entrance, but again, just really the grandeur of it is Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing super special about this entrance, but he did have kind of a crazy, beautiful robe. This obviously was his last match, and obviously he knew it was his last match, so he was going to go out with a bang. So he had an incredible robe, and just the amount of time, background. Right? The amount of time, the pyro that he got, it just really is, again, not this is super cinematic where they had a giant, horse stat, whatever. It just, in general, just the grandeur and the beauty of it is just a very beautiful entrance. So that's my number 5.
I will also say it was a great WrestleMania to go out at because that stage I think is honestly like in my top 5 WrestleMania stages for sure. It's so
I love that. So that WrestleMania is always going to have a very special place in my heart because that was the first WrestleMania I was ever at.
right.
So I just love that WrestleMania in general. But yeah, I really love that stage design as well.
Mm-hmm. My number 5 is going to be Rey Mysterio's entrance at WrestleMania 39, where he's driving in with the lowrider with Snoop Dogg, and it's got that one song with him, and then it goes into the Eddie Guerrero theme song. When that Eddie Guerrero theme song hit, I was like, Rey's winning. He's absolutely winning this match. Eddie Guerrero.
No. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. When that song hit, for a second, you and I thought Eddie Guerrero was coming out.
That's true. That's not even the first time that happened. That happened, and then I think it was the WrestleMania we were at. Or not the WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble we were at in St. Petersburg. And one of the LWI... it was Zelina Vega. That's who came out. And her music hit, and at the time it was the LWO music, which starts out the exact same as Eddie Guerrero's music. And so for a second, I thought Eddie Guerrero was coming out into the Women's Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, I just remember at 39, we were sitting in that timeshare watching it. I just remember like hearing his music hit, and you and I just like jumped off the couch, and then we both looked at each other like, "He's dead, man." Like, what are we doing?
He's been dead for almost 20 years now.
Right.
But no, I think that's definitely one of Rey Mysterio's better entrances. I really love that entrance. I think it was super sick. The ring gear too, I think was really good on Rey. All around very good.
My number 4 also comes from WrestleMania 39. It is going to be Bianca Belair's entrance from WrestleMania 39, where she had the Divas of Compton with her, all those little girls do the dance with her. In general, obviously, I just really loved the entrance and really thought it was beautiful in a way of just something really cool, but also beautiful that she got a bunch of little kids on there, and beautiful, obviously, it was all, black girls and whatnot. It was for their culture and whatnot. I thought it was really, really cool. But it's kind of emotional because that little girl, like the youngest girl, they said like her mom passed away that morning, and was still there, and had a moment with Bianca all to herself and whatnot. It's just really emotional, and just in general is a really beautiful entrance. So that's my number 4, just because I just thought, how emotional that is that little girl was still able to go out there and perform. On, like Triple H said it, I think, on the press conference, that this little girl is dealing with the darkest day of her life and was still able to show up and be a part of this entrance. So between that and just how cool the actual entrance is, with Bianca being out there with all those girls, and they all have their braids and they're all dancing with her and whatnot, I just think it was really cool. So that's my number 4.
No, that's a great number 4. I'm getting emotional about when you're just talking about it, man. I mean, it's great stuff. It's like inspiring to the human spirit, pretty much.
Right.
Going through that and still being able to have that kind of incredible memory. So that's a very good. And also, on a darker note, that also kind of reminded me of, in that same Mania, John Cena's entrance, where he has all of like the kids from the Make-A-Wish with him at his entrance, and then he just goes on to lose the match.
Never give up, except for that one WrestleMania.
The worst WrestleMania to have a Make-A-Wish John Cena thing. He goes out and loses. My number 4 is going to be The Fiend's entrance from WrestleMania 37, where he's coming out of the Jack in the Box with Alexa Bliss. I feel like the timing, everything with this, like, with the sound design, especially with this entrance, I think it all matches up perfectly to where, like, Alexa's like winding up the box, and it's got like the little and it's super creepy and shit, and it's like all the lights are red and there's like fog everywhere, and then as he's coming up from the box, like his music hits, and it's like the hurt heel, and it's so sick. It's so well done. I think Bray Wyatt really truly had a great understanding of theatrics and how to captivate an audience with all that kind of stuff. So very good. It's one of my favorite entrances. I think it's super creative. I love it a lot.
Yeah, that was one that I meant to put on my honorable mentions, and I think it just slipped my mind. But that entrance is really, really cool. It's a really good entrance. My number 3 was on your honorable mentions list there. I'm gonna go Undertaker at WrestleMania 29. I think this is his coolest entrance. The fact that he was walking out and had all these zombie souls trying to reach out for him and stuff. I just thought it was really, really cool. And for a guy that, is the epitome of WrestleMania, like, I feel like, I could be wrong, I'm just thinking off the cuff, I may be ignorantly wrong here. I feel like he doesn't have a ton of special entrances because his entrance is special in itself. So when I look at, like, WrestleMania, like, I'm trying to think right now, I'm like, I don't remember him necessarily having too many, like, special over-the-top entrances for, like, a WrestleMania.
Nothing really over the top. He did have, for a few manias there, the druids come out with, like, the torches and all that kind of stuff, and they'd be, like, spread out throughout, like, the ramp or, like, the stage or anything like that. There was one I meant to put on here, but I didn't put on here. I don't remember if it was 21 or 22. I don't think he had the druids out, but when his music hit, like, the doors to the stage kind of opened, and it was, like, glowing light behind him, and he's just, like, standing there, like, at a very far distance, and I'm like, that's intimidating as hell.
Yeah. I know for 27 he had like Johnny Cash, like he had like a Johnny Cash song or something like that, like every once in a while, but I feel like this one was probably like his most cinematic entrance, and I just thought it was just so cool. Like he's literally walking through a graveyard of souls trying to like reach out and take him. Obviously that's supposed to be all the other victims of WrestleMania that he's put down and whatnot. So I just think it's super, super, super good.
Yeah, that's a great one for sure. My number 3 is going to be Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 38. This is a core memory for you and me.
Oh yeah,
we were there. Well, we weren't there, but we were definitely watching.
We were there.
We were there in Texas. We were watching live when that happened. You and me literally shot up out of our seats, and we're just like watching the TV and just being like, "Holy shit!" The second he like rises up from the fog and stuff like that. And what's one of my favorite things to do when rewatching this entrance specifically is you don't hear like the crowd going like whoa along with like the whoa in the song and all that, and that's very like it's impossible nowadays at this point because it's just so like integrated with the song and everything like that. It's essentially like a "you suck" thing with Kurt Angle, but it was very unique in that sense to where they didn't kind of have that going on. But I mean, this return I think is probably one of the best returns of all time. This entrance is truly very well done. He looks super sick the entire time. The crowd is just on their feet the entire time cheering. It's definitely a great memory for sure and a great entrance.
I think to add to that too, what people don't talk about is the split second of Seth's reaction and whatnot also adds to the entrance where he kind of laughs and then he immediately is just pissed the fuck off.
Yes.
Incredible. It adds aura to this entrance for sure. Yeah, that's a really good one. My number 2 is also Cody Rhodes from WrestleMania 40 this past year.
Okay.
This is fire entrance, bro. I knew going into it that Cody wasn't going to disappoint because this man, just on a weekly basis, loves his pyro. So I knew when it came to WrestleMania, he was going to have a crazy entrance. And his pyro wasn't even like that crazy. It was just like the actual entrance itself, having like it was giving like Avengers Endgame Steve facing off against Thanos before the backup arrives. Like
pretty much, yeah.
They show on the screens like this destroyed battlefield with the American Nightmare flag stuck in like the ground, and the whole battlefield is like burnt to a crisp and whatnot. And then you have Cody standing up there. I'm not a huge Brandy fan, but I thought it was cool to have her involved, and she takes the mask from him and whatnot. Yeah, just in general, like the whole epicness that happens before his entrance even starts is really, really cool. So that's my number 2, just because I think I just thought it was really just a badass entrance. And again, I think it just adds emotion to it because it was already an emotional situation, because I think we all kind of knew that he was finally going to win, because why the hell would you run it back for him to lose again, So like
exactly
going into it, it was less of a who's going to win and more of a how are they going to book this. I think everybody was watching, so just kind of just added like some emotion and made it even more emotional to where we were like, all right, like, our last hero is going into battle again, so this is it. That's my number 2.
My number 2 is going to be John Cena at WrestleMania 23. This is the one with the Mustang driving through the streets and shit.
Oh, man, I totally forgot about that. That needs to be an honorable mention for me because I love that.
That has to be at least an honorable mention, bro. It's so sick. He's like drifting through the streets. He breaks through the glass and shit like that. I have written down here Fast and Furious prediction. because he does end up being in the Fast and Furious movies.
This is true.
This is like the most nostalgic entrance to me. This was always my favorite WrestleMania entrance as a kid. It's still one of my favorites to this day. It's so sick. I love it so much.
Yeah, that definitely. I'm adding that to my honorable mention list because that's incredible. I don't know. I need to look into it, but before I do look into it, over under on how much we think he was actually doing all that driving, or do we think it was a stunt person and that he was just waiting in a car behind the glass pane and just?
I'm more than sure it was like
pane.
a stunt person, to be like realistic about it. But I mean, if he can drive like that, like good on you, man.
He is a big car guy, so he may be able to drive like that. I'm not sure, but I just think it would be kind of funny if it was a stunt performer and they recorded it the night before, and the whole time John Cena is just waiting in the car behind the glass pane, just waiting.
There are like a lot of like cuts in that whole cinematic and whatnot, so it could easily just be like the last one is just him driving up to the glass and then ramming through the glass, and that's just it for him. But
but I just thought that was funny. Yeah. My number one though, taking it home, was also on your audible fucking mentions list, and I think it's the greatest entrance ever. Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. I just think this is the most like cinematic entrance, but at the same time, like it's the grandest entrance for a special entrance, but at the same time, it's telling a story. It's not like, again, New Day at WrestleMania 32 was awesome with the Ginyu Force stuff and the thing, but there's no story being told there. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's just a fun little idea of like what were they if they were the prizes inside of the cereal box. So, you know, this was telling a story. This was Shawn Michaels playing the ultimate mind game before walking into this match at WrestleMania. So I think the actual entrance itself is just incredible, but I think what makes it the best is that, unlike most WrestleMania entrances, this one was actually telling a story and actually played into the match. As Shawn Michaels was like playing his last mind game with the Undertaker before this match started. But yeah, him in the all white, doing the being the opposite of what Undertaker is, coming down from the heavens instead of coming up from hell, and just in general, I just think it's the best entrance for those reasons.
It's a very fair number one. It's definitely one of the more legendary entrances. Again, with the storytelling and everything like that, you don't really see many entrances, if any other entrance, honestly, having that kind of story or level of storytelling behind it, or mind games behind it. Definitely a very good one. My number one, I think, may go down in history as one of the, if not just the most badass.
As the worst number one ever.
No. This is one of the most badass entrances, I think, of all fucking time. I'm going with Edge at WrestleMania 38. Him coming up through the fucking throne and all the fire and shit out of this like dark pyramid with his new music, the Judgment Day theme coming through it. Everything about this, like, I went home later that day or after that WrestleMania and just had that song like on repeat on the way home for like 40 minutes straight. Because I was like, this is one of the most badass themes ever, and that entrance I think is super underrated and not talked about enough because I think it's just so sick and so different from everything that Edge has done pretty much throughout his like entrances and whatnot. I have my note for this entrance is just drugs.
Nice. That's fire. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot about that entrance. Like, it wasn't even something I would think of. But now that I think of it, it is a really cool entrance. Even his WrestleMania 39 entrance was cool as hell too.
The Brood
his
one?
His was a little wonky with like the diamond skull or whatever. It was a little wonky, but it was still really cool. But the 38 entrance, now that I'm thinking about it, is definitely one of his best entrances with all the fire and whatnot. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are our top 5 WrestleMania entrances. So yeah, that's kind of the episode. We don't have much more to add here, much more to talk about.
This was definitely more of a news episode, I gotta say.
Oh, for sure. Shout out CinemaCon for being this past weekend.
Thank you, CinemaCon.
Didn't realize it.
Fed.
Yeah, but in general, it's the end of the podcast, but it's not the end of the content. We have more content on our YouTube, other episodes. This is episode 14, so you got 13 other episodes before it that you can go watch if you're watching on either our YouTube channel or the WNRN Spotify. I want to shout out the WNRN for being our gracious podcast host over on Spotify. We have a new WNRN All Florida champion. AJ Francis, I believe, last night lost the championship to my boy Mr. Azrael Rowe. He is the new All Florida champion. That was something that I know me and the other WNRN crew were hoping for. I know you don't know Azzy, but he's a really good kid. He's definitely funny, and he busts his ass. So the fact that he was able to win this championship is really, really cool. So shout out to Azzy for being the new WNRN All Florida champion. But yeah, we have a ton more content and more episodes on our YouTube channel and on that Spotify. And we have more coming. Like we said, the whole month is WrestleMania themed, from WrestleMania entrances, WrestleMania matches, WrestleManias in itself. We're going to have a WrestleMania review, like we said, as well as we're going to have our, kind of a, it's not an episode, but it's going to just be like a YouTube video that's going to be on the channel of our predictions. We have our prediction championship back there. It's on the line. Once again, I'm undefeated so far. I'm 2-0 here. Theo's got to pull it together.
I've got to climb this mountain. It's going to be another 14 matches situation.
Yeah, he's got to finish the story.
I got to finish the story.
But yeah, this one, I think what we should do is we should, instead of just doing it as WrestleMania as a whole, we should do it by each night. Because I think it would be kind of funny if you win night one and you take the belt home just to bring it back the next day and then possibly lose it.
Shortest reign in title history. One night.
So we'll do it all for one video, but I think we'll count them almost as there's two separate events.
Okay.
We're not gonna count Stand and Deliver. This is gonna be, it's strictly for the main roster kind of PLEs and whatnot. But
if I win it at Stand and Deliver and then you win it both night one and night two, and I have it for 3 hours.
Yeah, you win it at Stand and Deliver, and then at the end of night one, you have to hand it back to me at the end of the night. But yeah, just for night one and night two, it'll all be in one video. So make sure you check that out to see what our predictions are once we finally kind of get the full WrestleMania card, or cards, I should say, kind of finalized. And yeah, you'll have to be in the know so that after WrestleMania, when we do our WrestleMania 41 review, who's going to have the championship and whatnot. So yeah, tons of WrestleMania-centered content up on the channel this month. As well as my channel, I just did a video kind of talking about the idea of WWE Evolution 2. So make sure you check that out. I kind of fantasy booked it. To give a little hint, one of my matches that I think should happen is Stephanie Vaquer versus Rhea Ripley. I think that would be really, really cool. And yeah, like main event, I was like, what if we did Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus? Like, something like that. So go check that out if you want to kind of speculate with me on what might be happening. I think this is supposed to happen in July. So yeah, go check that out. If you want more content, go to my channel, check that out. I have other videos as well. And yeah, with that said, we will see you next week for our next WrestleMania entrance. You guys, or WrestleMania topic, I should say. My bad. You got something to add there, Theo?
No. We'll see you guys next week. We got WrestleMania matches coming up. I've been watching a lot of them over the past week. I'm going to be continuing to watch them throughout the rest of the week. So very excited for that. We will get to it next week.
Yeah.